Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now, Sammy Taramina, blog of the Dragons, Den blog inside the OAA, and one of the hosts between Taramina and OAA News and Television. I'd like to welcome our friends watching on Oxford Community Television and also those watching on YouTube. Today we are live. We are here at the new studio here, new podcast area here in the beautiful studio here known as ONTV Studios. So sit back and enjoy. Nice podcast to close out the 2016 year. So we got a lot to talk about, of course, a lot of basketball to talk about, recapping the Rochester Holiday Classic and also the takeaways from the first 2 days of the Motor City Roundball Classic, the Northville Tournament, also the Lance Cruz North Tournament, and also the Detroit Public School League Tournament. We got a lot of assessments of how where teams are at. And of course, there's a lot of team. And of course, we'll briefly recap. Of course, recap the year. Of course, the state championship team at Stony Creek for girls soccer, and also the boys state finalists for Troy Athens. So we'll see what happens going forward. Now let's go to our first one. Let's recap the Holiday Classic. Of course, that occurred on the week of the 26th, before the Christmas break, and that was on the 22nd and 23rd, and those were some very interesting games. Of course, I did take assess to them. Let's go with boys basketball first. It was a game between Rochester and Pontiac Notre Dame Preparatory, and I said, Rochester's boys basketball team. This is a boys basketball team. They're a very good team. And I sat next to two great guys, who are scouting the game. Of course, me being one of my methods is scouting. But when you look at Rochester, this is a very good boys basketball team here that they have. Of course, when you look at players like LaMarco Gilridge, Corey Gilridge, of course, they both had big games against Pontiac Notre Dame Preparatory. Even though the Falcons did lose that game 58-56, I still think at the end of the day, you got to give Rochester a lot of credit for fighting back in this game. And they battled hard. I mean, as mentioned, I like LaMarco Gilridge. Of course, he had 27 points in that game. Corey Gilridge, the younger brother of LaMarco, he had 11. Ben Compton, of course, who started in that game, he had 11 points as well. Rochester, though, was without two starters in that game. Of course, Chris Crawford and Ivan Barraza-Duran, of course, both have been battling injuries. They should be back. They should be back by the 2017 school year. When they start back up, of course, Rochester. When you look at Rochester, this is a team. They're a deep team. They're 10 deep, and you look at this Rochester team. They have Hunter. They have guys like Ahmed Anthony, who's a very good point guard in my opinion. He reminds me a little bit of a young Dave Holston. Of course, now I don't think he's as skilled as Dave Holston was when he was at Avondale, but he's got the mindset of Dave Holston, and I like that from him. I do like Drew Lofus a lot. When he's in the game, he can shoot timely threes. He can come in there and play some timely basketball. Of course, remember, he had a big three in that game against Notre Dame Prep to get Rochester closer. But they couldn't get over the hump because of they had two chances to win that game. They had two chances. And you look at that game, it could have went either way. And there's one player, a lot of hype surrounds this player, but I'm not high on him. And, it's Hunter Slashner. Of course, the reason why I don't know why people are high on Slashner, because, I know he's got a good basketball IQ. He's got a good, he can shoot some timely baskets, but he's not athletic. I mean, he's not athletic. And you look at, and he hasn't been consistent either. He's had good games, and he's a 3-year starter for this team, but he's just not athletic. And, and it shows, it showed in that game where Slashner was going, dribble driving down the lane, gets blocked twice by the Pontiac Notre Dame preparatory defenders, and and then he had a chance to win the game late, missed a layup. I mean, he missed a layup. So Schlesner right now is struggling a little bit, and and I wrote on my blog the other day. I said, I know Pleasant's high on him, but you look at the starting lineup right now. I think Slasher needs to go to the bench, and I'm going to be honest with you. For his I think for him to get his game back, I think he's going to have to move to the bench. And if I had to do a starting five right now at Rochester right now, this would be my starting lineup. It would be Ben Compton, Ahmed Anthony, Embrose Duran, Corey Gurridge, and Lamarco Gilrich. The reason why I say that is because you have balance. It gives you weapons. You know what I mean? Ben Compton can be a very good player. You know what I mean? And you have Ahmed Anthony, who I think is a very good point guard. Of course, he had some questionable calls against him in that game. Just a couple questionable calls. I like how he runs the show. I really like how he's matured as a player. I like Drew Lofus when he's in there. He can get some energy. Ben Compton can be more of a 3. Ivan Barraza Duran, of course, can be more of your 2 guard. Corey Gilrich, your 4. Lamarco Gilrich, your 5. When I look at Slashner, I really think he's more platoon to be a bench player. It kind of makes, a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Because you're on a team that's so deep, so talented. You can bring Lofus off the bench. You could bring a Ryan Noble off the bench. You could bring right now, I think for confidence sakes, I think Pleasant's going to have to look at possibly benching Slashner. And I think that I don't know if it'll make Rochester. I think, I'm going to be honest with you. I would say benching Slashner would make Rochester a better team. And the reason why I say this is because you have more athleticism on the court when he's not in there. I know he's got great basketball. I know Slashner's got great basketball IQ and he's a great kid. But, I think, when you look at this lineup, I think Compton, Ivan Barraza Duran, and Ahmed Anthony gives you that more athleticism, you know what I mean, than people think. Now, of course, you need the Gilrich brothers. Of course, Lamarco Gilrich is your big 5, big lefty also, too. I think it makes a lot of sense. And Corey Gilrich, I think he's done well enough to earn a starting spot. I really like the Gilrich brothers, especially because Rochester can go big. You can start slashing if teams go small. So, but I think at the end of the day, I think right now is the best bet for Rochester to win right now is to go with this lineup of Anthony, Barraza Duran, Compton, Corey Gilrich, and Lamarco Gilrich. I think that makes a lot more sense right now. I think for Slashner, I think he's gonna have to get a little bit more consistent with this game, and I think he can get there. I really believe he can get there, but I just think right now, I think what's best is to bring Slashner off the bench, and I think that might be the best scenario for Rochester going forward. So we'll see what happens there. Speaking of the boys, let's go to the girls. They're in deep trouble. I mean, Rochester's girls are in so much trouble. I mean, yeah, 2 of them were on vacation for Coach Adam Sheldon's team, and no Torrey Hawkins because he was out with an ankle injury. But this was a team that was blown out by Stony Creek. And it wasn't even funny. I mean, they were blown out, and it wasn't even close. I mean, it was 53-15, and, when you look at this Rochester team, yes, Paul Barraza Duran's back. Jen and Norgo were back from ACL injuries that took away their junior years from a year ago. But you look at this Rochester team, and they've got so much problems. They don't have a true 5. They don't have a true, besides Barraza Duran, and Barraza Duran did not start in that game against Stony Creek. They really don't have a go-to scorer, and it showed in that game. They were making way too many mistakes. They turn the ball over way too many times. But you got to give Stony Creek a lot of credit in that game, and they didn't show much. We'll go over Stony Creek in a couple minutes here, of course, with what happened against Flint Carmen Ainsworth and how that matchup was just absolutely shocking in the Motor City Roundball Classic. How they were just flat out just destroyed, by the Cavaliers, and we'll go over that in a couple minutes. But back to Rochester, I think that they've got some problems, and I think Rochester's lucky, right? I'll be honest with you. I think Rochester's lucky with how the league they're in right now, because I think when you look at the league right now, Troy's nothing special. Troy Athens nothing special. Seaholmes doesn't have Mackenzie Harbort. Oak Park's not very good. And you look at and of course, but I think Avondale could be the best team in the blue right now, and it's showing why. Avondale has a big win over Oxford, and that is just absolutely insane. You know what I mean? That, of course, first-year coach Phil Dawson has got that team rolling right now. Phil Dawson has done a magnificent job with Avondale. I thought Rochester would be favored in that division because of the experience. But right now, they're proving me wrong, and they said 0-6. There's a reason why they said 0-6. I mean, I think this is a fifth-place team going forward. This is truly a fifth-place team going forward, and that's Rochester Falcons right now. Adams is better than people think. They played Macomb Dakota the other night. Lost 32-28. Heck of a game. Heck of a defensive game. They had a bad loss to Bloomfield Hills the other night. I call Bloomfield Hills North Dakota State. They're virtually North Dakota State. But when you look at Adams, when you have Maggie Rogers, Michaela Smith, Hannah Samard, Ryan Owusu, and they hung tough at Macomb Dakota. Macomb Dakota is one of the top teams in the Macomb Area Conference. They're going up against teams like Warren Cousino, Romeo, very good team. Warren Cousino going to be a very good team as well. They're the defending state champions. But when you look at Adams, they might surprise people. I mean, I'm not high on the North Farmington bandwagon. I am not high on them. Clarkson right now is rolling. Stony Creek was rolling until that game with Carmen Ainsworth. You might want to put an asterisk on that game. We'll go over Stony Creek in a minute. But, we'll see what happens with Adams going forward. I do like where Jackie Steineker's team is going. Very young team. Well, they're a senior-heavy team. Very noble lady. I like that. Very noble lady. But anyway, with Adams, I think that this will be a good team going forward. I think Adams will be a very unique team. I really think that going forward, Adams is going to be they're going to beat some teams that you're going to be careful of. They're going to seriously beat some teams. Serious. You watch out. Because Adams is a very underrated team. You just watch out. Let's go to another one here, West Bloomfield. Of course, West Bloomfield, very interesting team. Of course, this is a team that, they look good against a good Pontiac Notre Dame preparatory team, but they had some spurts, especially defensively, where they just didn't look so good. And, they're very athletic. They're very quick. They have some size. They have some solid players. When you look at West Bloomfield, you got Jordan Elam, Corey Maxey, Destiny Cannon, Danica Murray, Jamel Elam, and Destiny Monroe. When you describe these players, Jamel Elam, of course, she's a very solid player, very good. I think she's the most improved player on West Bloomfield's team because she's become a better rebounder. I think she's learned a little bit from Taylor Pierce, of course, when she was there last year. Of course, Taylor Pierce played the 4, and of course, for the Lakers, and then Elam played the 5. I think that Elam's starting to, develop and get better each day as a player. I really like the game of Jordan Elam and Destiny Cannon. They're both dribble drivers. They know how to take over games. They know how to control things. I think those two are very solid players. They like to dribble drive a ton, get to the line. they're not bad. I mean, they're not bad. You know, and then of course you have Destiny Monroe. Of course, very good dribble driver. I call her a combo guard. The reason why I call her a combo guard is because she can dribble drive in the interior, and she can also shoot. You know, she had 2 long 3-ball attempts against Pontiac Notre Dame Preparatory. Kind of, you know, it didn't go in, but she had some good looks. You know what I mean? She had some really good looks, and you know, and I call her a combo guard. I call her a combo player. You know what I mean? She's that capable of being a capable good player, combo player. You know, and then you have Corey Maxey. Of course, Corey Maxey last year was Charlika Stubbs' sidekick. Of course, you know, when you look at West Bloomfield guards, you know, you've had some good guards. You had Macy Krizakoza there. You've had Rachel Harnish over there. I mean, you know, and then, of course, you had Charlika Stubbs last year. Corey Maxey, I think, definitely fits in the role of those players. I mean, like, she's a 3-point shooter. I call her a combo player also. Good floor general. You know, when you look at West Bloomfield, you know, all those players are scoring threats. You know, they're truly scoring threats for this Laker team. The only weakness they have is they're not deep. They're not a deep team, and that's going to show. And it'll show when they get in the white play, of course, when they got to go against like a team like Royal Oak or Bloomfield Hills or Lake Orion. Of course, they're going to be, all those 3 teams are very deep teams. You know, but we'll see what happens going forward with West Bloomfield. But they're a good team. You know, they're a pretty good team. So, you know, so we'll see what happens going forward there. And then Stony Creek, we'll talk about them in a minute. Coming up after break. Of course, this is a team though, you know, I thought this was a good tournament. I really thought this was a good showing at the Rochester Holiday Tournament. With all these teams. I really thought, you know, the best game of the day was the boys' game between Notre Dame Prep and Rochester. That ended up being a really good game. Second game I thought was a really good. There were a couple good games, of course. The Rochester, of course, the Pontiac Notre Dame Preparatory West Bloomfield matchup. I thought that was a very good game there. I thought West Bloomfield gave that game away in there. And then, of course, the Rochester Adams Macomb Dakota game I thought was a very good game between those 2 teams. Defensive, tight affair, unlike last year when at Macomb Dakota where Macomb Dakota just went completely bonkers against Rochester Adams, where they just really just dominated that game and controlled that game from here on out. So, you know, it was a good showing I thought for of course, it was a good showcase for especially the Rochester community, especially the Rochester Falcons boys basketball team, who I think is going to be a very good team in the Blue Division this year. Pontiac Notre Dame Preparatory, I thought, had a really nice showing themselves. Their girls basketball team starting to get back to their winning ways. Of course, they've had some really tough luck to start off the year, especially with losses to Bloomfield Hills and Lake Orion. And the Notre Dame Preparatory boys basketball team, very good team in their own right. They got to play Oxford coming up on January the 9th. And that's going to be a very interesting matchup over there at Pontiac Notre Dame Prep between the Irish and the Wildcats. I think Coach Steve Laidlaw will have his hands full. I think Coach Steve Laidlaw will have his hands full over there. And also they had the junior varsity matchups occurring on Thursday, of course. You know, in those matchups, of course, that was very interesting in their own right. Of course, Jeff Haney is still over at Rochester. He's the JV coach at Rochester. His team had to overcome a very interesting match against Pontiac Notre Dame Preparatory. Of course, Notre Dame Preparatory gave that one away in that JV matchup. So, you know, we'll see what happens going forward in that Rochester Holiday Tournament. So we'll see what happens. It was a great tournament. Great tournament. Great atmosphere. Credit Luke Beach, Coach Adam Sheldon, girls coach there, and also John Pleasant, the boys coach over at Rochester. Put up a really good event over there. Really great event. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about the Motor City Roundball Classic first day here on OAA Now.
we own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Welcome back to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina here. Of course, we're going to go over my takeaways from day one of the Motor City Roundball Classic that occurred on Monday. Of course, this is a very interesting what happened over there at the Motor City Roundball. I had a lot of takeaways from this tournament. From the first day. And there's a lot of them. The first one I'm going to talk about, we're going to go is the Farmington Hills Harrison, of course, the girls basketball team there under new coach Evan Caldwell. They're still trying to overcome the departure of Kristen Nelson and Olivia Perkins, who Kristen Nelson and Amber Steffens that went to Division I schools. Of course, you look at, and of course, Harrison is going to be a team that relies a ton on Teddy Pickens and Olivia Perkins. And those are the two girls right now that are going to be carrying the Hawks throughout the season. Now, Nyla Warren had 30 points against Grosse Pointe University League a couple weeks ago. But, but this Harrison team is going to be relying a ton on Pickens and Perkins to carry them. Of course, Teddy Pickens, the shooting guard. Olivia Perkins, undersized 4, but works her tail off, can rebound, physical, makes up a lot of that lack of size for her heart. And I think that's a very, and that's what I like about her. She's a very good player. I mean, I like Olivia Perkins. She's all heart. You know what I mean? She is all heart and determination. That's what I like about her. She's a very, very dynamic player. And, so, she's going to be very dynamic, But Harrison ended up losing 44-35 to Saginaw Arthur Hill. Pickens and Perkins combined for 17 of the 35 points in that game. But when you look at Harrison, yeah, they're small, but here's the thing. They have red experience from a year ago. You still have 3 of those starters played last year in that game. Despite the fact that this team does not have a freshman or junior varsity program, I think Harrison right now, I think Harrison's a dangerous team, and I really believe that this is a very dangerous team. And it's because of, their quickness. It's because of their mental toughness, despite the fact they're giving up so much height. They're small, but this team's got a lot of heart, and they're not going to give up. They're not going to give up. You know what I mean? I think that this Harrison team, going forward, they could be a surprise team. They're an interesting team to keep an eye on. Going forward, not only in the white division this year, but also when they get into districts over at Farmington. Of course, I consider Farmington Hills Harrison the dark horse in that division, in that district, because when you look at it here, Mercy don't scare me. Farmington Hills Mercy doesn't scare me. North Farmington really doesn't scare me. I mean, in that one. So Harrison could be a team that could surprise some folks, but, we'll see what happens with them going forward. But anyway, Harrison played a very good Saginaw Arthur Hill team. If they can get Nyla Warren going to go along with Pickens and Perkins, I think it's going to make Harrison a much more dangerous team going forward. And we'll see what happens going forward with them, with that team. Oak Park's girls. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this team. Peggy Ann McCarter's team's got problems. Seriously. They're 0-4 in December. They're 1-4 right now. They're 0-4 in December. And they lost 56-29 to Wyandotte Roosevelt. The least amount that they lost was by 11 points. Everybody else they got blown out. That clearly tells me that something must be wrong at Oak Park. Something has to be addressed over there. And, for this team, I'm going to say it right now. Oak Park is not competitive right now in girls basketball. They are not competitive. And it shows. It clearly shows. When they get in the blue play, you're playing some tough teams. Sure they are. But when it gets in the blue play, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust this team going forward. I can't trust this team going forward. They remind me a lot of Rochester. Rochester's girls. I can't trust Rochester's girls going forward either. And the fact that these two teams are in the same division, it'll be very interesting when these two teams play. You got Troy in there. You got Troy Athens in there. Seaholm in there without Mackenzie Harbaugh, who's out for the year. And then you have Avondale, who arguably is the best team in the blue division. They are. And it showed. That win for Avondale over Oxford meant a lot more to that division, because I think it sent a message to the blue division where Avondale's at. It did. It did. And Oak Park, they're in trouble. They are in some trouble. I mean, this is a team that's got issues. They've got issues. Seriously. They got issues. They got to address them. They have got to address them if they're going to be good. They're going to be good. We'll see what happens going forward. Pontiac's boys are still work in progress. When I look at Pontiac, they did suffer a disappointing 78-51 loss to Livonia Stevenson. But, even though they lost 2 straight games, they got some talent on that team. I mean, David Wilson's back. Deshaun Jackson's there. Craven Williams is there. And Sionia Brown transferred in. They're trying to learn a new system. What I learned from changing systems, of course, it takes time to develop them. It takes time, and it can't be rushed overnight. You see all the new coaches over there, when you look at what happened at Oxford, they're having a good start. I don't think the schedule's been really beneficial to them. But I think that it takes time to develop that team, and you're going to have to play. You're going to have tough games. You look at the at teams changing cultures. Of course, Harrison's going through a culture with Shavin Caldwell. Lake Orion going through a culture change with Kevin Kopech. It takes time to change a culture. Pontiac, of course, Ben Kelso's system of play was slow. They're slow and methodical. Now he's no longer there. Pontiac's going more to an up-tempo type of system. And I think it's going to benefit them later on. Do I think they're in the right division? No. Because you have Hazel Park in there, Troy's in there, Avondale's in there, Troy Athens is in there, and Oak Park's in there. That's not an easy division. I'm sorry. That is not an easy division at all. And you look at the white division, it's a difficult division. Some solid teams are in there. Very good teams are in there. So, at Pontiac, you got to give it patience, got to give it time. I think they're going to get it. And I think they'll be a dangerous team come March. They will be. West Bloomfield boys basketball. They're better than people think. Jeremy Dennis' team's playing a murder's row of schedule. Really have. And you look at this West Bloomfield team, they have played a murder's row of schedule. They have played, perhaps, they played Cincinnati Withdrawal. Withdrawal lost to them 51-48. They're a very good team. But they played Warren DeSalle, beat them in double overtime. They played a vicious, very vicious schedule. The record might say that they're under 500. You can't assume that this team is an under 500 team. This is a team I think should be an over 500 team later in the season. And West Bloomfield, they're going to get better. They're going to get there. They're going to get better. I think they're going to compete with Bluefield Hills in the red division because nobody's touching Clarkston. Sorry about that. Nobody's touching Clarkson. But either way, I like Kevin McAdoo a lot. I like Davian Johnson a lot. I mean, I think Jeremy Dennis' team's fine. I really do. I think they're fine. I'm not pressing the panic button on them yet. Not press the panic button. They're fine. They're fine. They are fine. Farmington. They had an emotional win against North Farmington the other night. 65-58. First win against them in 15 years. Incredible win for them. However, they go and they lay an egg the next night. Gave it away against Detroit Frederick Douglass. Detroit Frederick Douglass is not very good, for starters. Yes, Farmington's got Jack Kirby and Jordan Graham. Jordan Graham's had a nice returning year. Return from the ashes. He's had a really nice start to the season. But how do you lose this game to Detroit Frederick Douglass Academy? How? How do you lose this game? You know, it's hard for me to say. Defensively, this team's got issues. Sorry. Defensively, this team's got issues. And you look at Farmington. They have everything they want. They're in the gold division. You know, they have an interesting district. You know, all you gotta do is get by Orchard Lake St. Mary's. You can prove you can beat North Farmington. You know, if you get by Orchard Lake St. Mary's, you win that district. And it's at home. Farmington's got a great shot. They got a great shot. But, you know, the loss to Detroit Frederick Douglass, I can't buy this hype. I can't buy the hype. I can't buy it. I really can't. I mean, I really can't. I really can't. Joe Sermo's team's in a lot of trouble at Berkeley. They were blown out by Grand Rapids Union 62-23. Grand Rapids Union's very good. There's no doubt about it. They've not been the same team since they won 53-52 over Madison Heights Bishop Foley. You know, and they were blown out by Rochester and Seaholm in blowout fashions. They still got to play a tough schedule. They still got to play Stony Creek and Orion. Both of them are on the road. I mean, Orion's a deceptive 0-4. Stony Creek just lost their first game the other night against Grosse Pointe South at Grosse Pointe South. It was a heck of a game over there. I mean, what else to say about Berkeley? They're in trouble. I know Joe Sermo's trying to change the culture over there. I know he is. They're in trouble. They're pretty much in trouble. Clarkson we'll talk about in a minute. Southfield Arts and Tech. You know, this is a team that a lot of people are high on coming in. They're high on this girls basketball team. You know, they went through a transitional period from Jamie Glintz to Michelle Marshall. And then they played Detroit Renaissance. Team in their district coming up. Supposed to beat them. Lose by 15 to them. How is that possible? When you have Deja Church, who's a Miss Basketball candidate. I know she had a double-double in that game. They had 18 points from Shane McEvans. Of course, I call McEvans an AAU-type superstar. He plays on that Michigan Storm team over there. Very good player. But how do you lose to Detroit Renaissance? How? You know what that tells me, too? Let me tell you what it tells me. Southfield Arts and Tech is vulnerable heading into districts. Because it looks like what's going on with that team is, you know, Detroit Renaissance is kind of having a little bit of rebirth, for starters. And two, you know, when you look at Southfield Arts and Tech, I understand you're trying to build a culture over there. You're trying to build that type of culture. But if Detroit Renaissance is coming back from the glory days, then I think Southfield Arts and Tech's in a lot of trouble. Because one, that district's in Detroit. Two, they know Detroit Renaissance knows they can beat Southfield Arts and Tech. They've already beat them. I mean, they know how to shut Deja Church down. They know how to do it. So what I'm saying right now is I think Southfield Arts and Tech is vulnerable. They're very vulnerable. Now, I know they got the Red coming up for Southfield Arts and Tech, but the Reds no easy league. I'll tell you that much. You got a team that's undefeated right now. A team that lost 2 or 3 in there. You got one that likes to press a ton, and the other one, is not bad in their own rights. They're going to be tough. It's not easy for Southfield Arts and Tech. If you think Southfield Arts and Tech's going to win this division easy, throw that out the window. Throw it out the window. I'll tell you why. You throw it out the window. Because I still think that red division's going to be very tough. And for those who think Southfield Arts and Tech's going to win the division easily, might want to throw it all away. Because I think the 4 other teams are going to have a strong say. And I think when they get to district play, I think the Warriors are going to have a lot of trouble with the Phoenix. Because they're at home. Detroit Renaissance at home. And, of course, and it's proven, and they've already beat them once this year. Now, I'm not sure if they didn't have any other players that didn't play, but it tells me that they're in some trouble. Big, big, big trouble going forward. Final thoughts here on the day 1 recaps. I think, it was an interesting day, a very interesting dynamic here. Let's recap some of the day 2's tournament action. Of course, it was very interesting over there the other night, but here are my thoughts here, and I mentioned some of the other teams earlier here. Let's go with our first team, it's Bloomfield Hills. They were at Macomb Latch Cruise North. They lost 67-58 to Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Orchard Lake St. Mary's this year's a very good team. Of course, there's no doubt about it. I really think the Lake Orion contingent of bringing in both Prescorns and Harris, I think, has really helped this team. They also got another good player on that team as well. But Kewanee Graham had 14 points for Bloomfield Hills in that game. They're gonna play New Baltimore Anchor Bay on Wednesday. In the consolation matchup. I think it's gonna be a very interesting matchup as we speak between those two teams. I think it's gonna be very interesting. But I think Bloomfield Hills will win that game against New Baltimore Anchor Bay and go 1-1 in that tournament. So we'll see what happens going forward. We'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the blog as well for that one too. Of course, I will update day 3's recaps. So we'll see what happens there with that one. Southfield Arts and Tech boys basketball. Michael Flowers is not in game shape yet, but they end up losing 63-58 to Detroit Henry Ford. They have other talent. The Warriors do for Coach Mike Avery. Remy Torbert at 11. Corey Wenner at 13. Brendan Record at 14. So when Flowers comes back healthy, much different team. Much different team. That could seriously contend for him that could contend, could do very well, because I still don't think anybody's touching Clarkson. Sorry. No one's touching Clarkson. Oxford's girls was killed by Northville. This was expected. This was really expected. I mean, Malin Morris at 15 points in that game. Moni Evans at 7. Playing Ann Arbor Skyline on Wednesday afternoon in Northville. Moni Evans is very good. I mean, when you look at Oxford, they ran in Northville. Nothing you can say. Really nothing. They were just outmatched. Overmatched. Nothing you can say much about them. Really nothing. Stony Creek lost a tough one to Grosse Pointe South the other night. And it was 58-55. Stony Creek is no longer undefeated. So, tough loss for the Cougars against the Blue Devils. They're going to be playing Plymouth on Thursday night at Grosse Pointe South, the consolation matchup. So, that's an interesting game to keep an eye on between Stony Creek and Plymouth. So, that'll be interesting. Tough loss for Coach Steve Norgard's team. Very tough loss there. North Farmington's got some balance. I was really thrilled about that they got some balance against Harperwood Chandler Park Academy. Sam Randall, Kelsey Lusker look like your two starting guards over there. That will help a ton with Kira Crockett, Samantha Cherney, and Sophie Miller. Those are your 5 starters. Crockett had 23 points, in their 50-29 win. Both teams will be in action on Thursday at Bloomfield Hills when they have Bloomfield Hills will be playing Waterford Mount, which I think is going to be a very interesting match between Sam Cherney and Myra Williams. And Harperwood Chandler Park Academy's got to play the host Bloomfield Hills. Man, what Bloomfield Hills want revenge for what happened to them last year. I feel bad for the Falcons. I feel real bad. Positive sign for Northampton going forward. If they can get development from their guards, I think it's going to help them going forward. I really do think it's going to help them going forward. Now let's go to Clarkston. Reason why I talked about them is they're still undefeated. Had a huge win against Detroit Cass Tech the other night, 63-54. The reason why they're undefeated is because of 3 players. Maddie Beck, Kayla Luca Beck, Molly Nicholson. All of them balanced. They're all of them tall, too. Very tall. Beck had 20. Beck at 18 despite being in foul trouble in that game. Nicholson at 13. Luca Beck at 28. I think those 3 girls are juniors. That's scary. And they're back next year. That tells me Clarkson's going to be strong next year, too. If they can somehow find any guard play, I think this is a very good team. They're going to get even more scary if they can find any more guard play. They need guard play, though. But right now, Beck, Luca Beck, and Nicholson are carrying this team right now. Very interesting to say with them. Ferndale got crushed by 50 points the other night. They lost 83-33 to Detroit Northwestern. Detroit Northwestern's a very good team. There's no doubt about it. Ferndale's got a very tough schedule going forward. I've got some concerns with this team, especially with the schedule they got to play with Livonia Franklin, Rochester, and Harper Woods. Then they open up gold play with Farmington. That's not easy. That is not easy at all. That's not easy. Now let's go to Harrison's boys. Yikes. They gave up 98 points against Detroit Cass Tech. Now, yes, Detroit Cass Tech's very good, but I didn't expect them to give up over 100. Goodness gracious, near 100 points. I'm sorry. Stephen Wilson's team, they're in trouble. Harrison's boys are in a lot of trouble. And the reason why is because they're not as strong as people think. And I think that you can score on Harrison. But I think Harrison's in a lot of trouble. I really do think they're gonna have some issues going forward. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course, we got Hazel Park and Stony Creek before we go to break here. Hazel Park's boys are very good. The reason why they're very good is because it's simple. They used a 31-0 run against Sterling Heights Stevenson, and they won that one 70-35. 70-35. Unbelievable. Unreal. What tells me is this Hazel Park's got a very good boys basketball team. And then we have 8 players. They know how to keep their fouls down. They know how to keep out of foul trouble. This is a very good basketball team that Hazel Park's got over there. Very good basketball team. And this is going to be a dangerous team going forward. Very dangerous team. They still got to play Grand Blanc, Toledo Scott, and Clarkston. It's not even league play yet. And then that league, they got to play Troy, Aberdale, Pontiac, Oak Park. I said Aberdale and Troy Athens. That's not easy. That's not going to be easy games for Hazel Park. But Hazel Park's got a very interesting atmosphere. They have the band that plays there. They have it's a very interesting place to play at. Very interesting, unique place. Last but not least is Stony Creek. They look good against Rochester. Looked really good against them. This is a team that is going to rely a ton on Emily Solik and Emily Elkhart. Reason why those two are very important is because they are the heart and soul of Stony Creek's team. Of Coach Todd Negotiation, of Coach Kellen James's North Farmington, Norgrove, North Farmington, No-Go, Todd Negotiation pressure defense. Pretty simple. And Solik and Elkhart, you know, those are the two girls that are going to get the bulk of the points. They have another good player in Megan Porter, very good player, but she didn't play against Rochester because she's hurt. She's hurting right now. She's got an injury. She didn't play against Flint Carmen the Ainsworth, but that's not what shocked me, to be honest with you, how they lost that game. Now, yeah, I understand Stony Creek didn't have Emily Solik, who didn't play in that game because she had a family commitment and all that. I'm just shocked how they lost this game. You cannot let Destiny Strotter score 31 points on your defense. What does it say about your team? What does it say? I don't know if that's the most anybody's scored against a Kellen James defense. I don't know. But she got 31 points and Stony Creek got 21 points as a team. That's shocking to me. It was shocking. I mean, I understand not having Emily Solik back. Not having Emily Solik. You know, but somebody else has to step up besides Emily Elkhart. Missing Porter, missing Solik hurt this team. Not sure if Ellie Voss played in that game. But when you're a team that relies a lot on Solik and Elkhart's production every night, it's a good thing to have that. But when you don't have a true interior big in the interior, you're going to have problems. And, I'm not as shocked as with Stony Creek not having if Stony Creek lost that game. I'm shocked how they lost that game and they let Destiny Strotter score 31 points. 7 of them were threes. That's what I'm shocked about. I know Kellen James is a heck of a coach. Stony Creek will regroup from this. They will rebound from this. They play Belleville coming up to open up the new year. That'll be an interesting game. It's at Stony Creek before the league play starts, and they got to play. I think they play Clark. So we'll see what happens going forward with Kellen James' team. But I'm more than shocked how they lost that game to Flint Carmen Ainsworth. Despite not having Solik, not having Porter. It shocks me. It shocked me. It really shocked me. But I think if I'm Stony Creek, I know Kellen James is a good coach. He's got Al Walker on that bench. They're going to bounce back from this. Stony Creek will bounce back from this. Guaranteed. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about the new year here. Of course, we're going to talk about the new year and our expectations for 2017 here on OAA Now.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
Welcome back to OAA Now. Of course, we will recap what happened in 2016. Of course, when we look at the year, of course, some girls soccer, Stony Creek winning a girls soccer championship, which was very important this year for the OAA. We had some teams make some interesting runs. Of course, Rochester made a huge baseball run to the state quarterfinals a year ago. They ran to a very good Heartland team in the state quarterfinals this year. Lake Orion softball made a nice run to the state quarterfinals. They lost to Farmington Mercy in a questionable game. A lot of, but I expect the Dragons to be back this upcoming season. I think Rochester, they're gonna have some experience as well. I think they're gonna be a very good team this upcoming spring for baseball. Troy Athens soccer this year, the men's soccer team went to the state final, ended up losing in that to East Kentwood. But when you look at Troy Athens' ride in soccer, I think they had a really nice year. Nobody expected their run to get where they were at this year. I expect Troy Athens, to make another run at the state state crown next fall, and I think they will make another run at 2017. Groves in football this year, of course. Brendan Flaherty's team, got to give him a lot of credit, making it the state semifinal. Before losing to eventual Division II state champion Detroit Martin Luther King. Groves had some nice wins. They shocked Birmingham Brother Rice 24-0 in the district final. They ended up winning the white division this year in football, which was I thought was a complete shock in my opinion. I thought Groves was a 3-6 team in my opinion to start the year. But for them to go and finish the year winning the white division and then making a long, deep playoff run, it's got to be a heck of an accomplishment for them in that Beverly Hill community. And also beating Birmingham Brother Rice, which was very huge. They have not done that to the Warriors in a long time. So that was a heck of an accomplishment for the Falcons this year. A lot of accomplishments this year. Lake Orion making it back to the playoffs. Clarkston, of course, made them as well. Adams making them back for the first time in a few years. Also was a playoff team this year. Berkeley was a playoff team again this year. Bloomfield Hills winning their first division championship, going undefeated for running into a good West Bloomfield team who, despite the fact that they didn't have John Paddock, but West Bloomfield, also I liked West Bloomfield this year. They made playoffs for the second straight year. They were the best team last year, the best team in 2015, last team to make it in this year in the Division One. But I'm really glad for the Lakers that they made the playoffs this year as well. So when you look at, and of course, Southfield Artisan Tech made a nice run in their first year as a Division One school. Fortunately for them, they ran into a very good Utica Eisenhower team over at Swinehart Field, and it was a very unfortunate circumstance for the Warriors. And but Southfield Artisan Tech had a really nice year in their own rights. They did find a quarterback, I think, in John Darby, who I think is going to be a very good one for the Warriors going forward. So when you look at, and of course, when you look at basketball, of course, Southfield Lathrop, of course, losing to Detroit Martin Luther King, had a really nice year a year ago when they had the Bellow sisters. Boys basketball, you gotta look at, Groves' run. I think Groves winning a district championship was huge for them. Clarkston, of course, Macomb Dakota was a heck of a game for them. Volleyball, of course, I think that epic game between Lake Orion and Clarkston district final, I think that would have made, maybe a possible state semifinal matchup. Clarkston made a nice run until they got upset by Fenton in the regional final. But other than that, and then cheerleading, of course, Rochester winning a state championship in competitive cheerleading. Of course, you had Lake Orion, Troy Athens were also there as well in that process at the state final for cheerleading. Track and field, of course, Oak Park winning the both state championships this year in track and field. Of course, Connor Bandel for Oxford breaking the shot put record over there and winning a discus championship for shot and discus. So a lot of accomplishments this year. A lot of accomplishments in 2016, and we hope 2017 brings a lot of good fortune to the OAA, and I think it will. When you look at how the league's going to look this upcoming year, and how we're going to handle things, of course, as mentioned here on OAA Now. Of course, we're going to have our pod here in our new podcast room, and very exciting time here for our show. Of course, it's very exciting when you get to move to your new podcast room, and it's very exciting. Very exciting, very good opportunity, to have for a lot of things, going forward. A lot of expectation heading into 2017. Of course, basketball still continuing, cheerleading, wrestling. Of course, wrestling, really nice tournament for Oxford. They won a county championship this season, and they're making I think Oxford's going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on going forward in wrestling. And you really look at what 2017 is going to bring. I think it's going to bring a lot of hope, a lot of optimism, and I think it's going to bring a lot of opportunity for those who are looking for hope and dreams. You know what I mean? This upcoming for the new year, of course, a lot of new changes coming up. So very, very exciting times heading in 2017. Not only for the 23 schools in the OAA, but also for everybody surrounding athletics around the OAA. So a lot of opportunity going forward here for one of the greatest leagues in the entire state of Michigan, the Oakland Activities Association, and we'll see what happens going forward. Can everybody sign off here? I wish everybody a happy New Year. Of course, you can catch the Bloomfield Hills Classic, the Russell Motor City Roundball Classic, also the conclusion of the last cruise tourney, all on my blog at Sammy_Termina at blogspot.com. I will post on Twitter. Of course, I'm at Saginaw Bay on Twitter, and keep an eye on the blog for updates surrounding the entire tournament and also news surrounding the OAA, considering the football coaching situations over at Farmington and Troy, and also the rest of the coaching searches going around the OAA. So, can everybody sign off here? Have a happy New Year. I'm Sammy Termina. Sign off. Happy New Year, everybody.
OAA Now is produced at Orion Neighborhood Television, Lake Orion's community media outlet. To learn more about ONTV, visit our website at www.orionontv.org or call us at 248-393-1060.